Hi, this is Mark Kelly with University Financial Strategies. So in this video, I wanted to explain the onboarding steps. As you'll see below, there's actually various sections which lay out various tasks that I'm looking for you to complete. The reason why we do this is because this is how I can understand what you have with your financials. And so I can actually then help you understand more for yourself. And this is how we can empower you in terms of the decisions you make. Often we have various goals, might be retirement, maybe paying for college, maybe just taking a vacation, or maybe buying a car. So what we're trying to do is to give you information so that you're empowered in making this decision so that it doesn't financially impact you. That's what we're going to try to work through in terms of creating a financial plan. The first thing I need you to do is obviously I need you to sign my agreement. You'll see it says sign up now agreement. So there it's going to pop up a agreement, which I lay out all the information about my fees and how I charge. I typically would have explained that to you in our meeting. I actually will lay that out there. And then once you initial and sign, you'll get a copy for your own records. And also it'll send it to me electronically. So that's the first thing I need to do. That information is the same information I file with the state of North Carolina. So the next thing, what we're going to try to do is understand your comfort with risk. What we find is that most people tend to be twice as fearful about how they invest versus the upside. The reason why that's important is because part of the way you fund your goals is to try to compound your money. So interest and growth over it actually gives a return on top of itself. So compounding is actually the real miracle in investing. And so what we want to try to do is try to be consistent with that type of return, because that creates what's called the expected return on your portfolio. The expected return is just the number we use to grow your portfolio over time so that, for example, you're able to retire, or maybe you're able to fund that college education for your children. Maybe just, like I said, buying a car or taking that travel vacation. All of that's important because if we do that without intention or without thinking about it, our money tends to disappear. So it's all about trying to make sure we're paying yourself first and that you have the information so that you can make the best decisions for yourself. Because really my role is just really to be a guide to help you all understand how that works in your particular situation, your family situation. So that first section again is to identify your risk comfort level. And what that means is that, for example, if the S&P 500, we consider that a speed limit of a 75 and your portfolio is, the risk questionnaire comes out to be a 50, that means you're taking less risk than the market. And so then you would expect less downside if the market's down. So you see there's a major event that happens and there's maybe the pandemic, or like we talked about the 2008, 2009 Great Recession. Those are all things that happen over time. And I think we should expect more of those things will happen. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to react and be in and out of the market because it doesn't pay off. And so this way you're giving yourself permission to stay invested and stay within a range or comfort level that you feel that you can stay invested and have your money grow. So there you're going to fill out, there's going to be what is your risk score? I want you to fill out that questionnaire. You just click the button there and there's no wrong or right answers there, just how you feel about investing. And then it's going to show you in dollar terms what the portfolio may do over a 6-month period. So that kind of just helps you understand the ups and downs of the market. So if you think about it, a roller coaster is a typical analogy, you're going to understand kind of what your portfolio is going to do relative to the stock market or the S&P 500. So with that information, I'll analyze it and I'll actually explain that to you in terms that you'll understand, meaning in terms like in dollar terms, what you would expect a portfolio to go up or down. So that's the first step. The second step is actually to understand about Right Capital. Right Capital is actually the financial planning portal that I use to create your financial plan. And so in that, it does a lot of information. So depending on the scope of how we're working together, I'll have various modules will explain things like Social Security. When is the optimal time to take Social Security? And that could be, $1 million difference. So it's important to understand those numbers. And so with this tool, we're actually going to explain that. That all is derived from what you put in in terms of things like your current income, your age, your assets. And so we're going to try to connect all that information. So in that section, there's a video kind of gives a high level overview of what Right Capital is. Then there's another, you tab down, there's another video which actually explains how to register and actually fill out the profile form within Right Capital. So that explains all that. You can actually use that to aggregate accounts that, for example, if you have a bank account or credit card, that'll link in and those transactions will show up in the Right Capital portal. So you can actually understand where your money goes. So we tend to follow the Dave Ramsey 7 baby step process. So having all these that information will help give you information about where you are relative to the baby steps that you're in. Should we be paying off debts? Should we be investing more for retirement? When do we pay for college? When do we pay off our mortgage? Those are things that we want to think through. And that's the Dave Ramsey process is a linear process, baby step 1 through 7. And so we want to try to follow those in order. A lot of people get those out of order. So we will kind of guide you through that process and understand where you should be along that path. But fill that out. Then the next step is actually it's statements and documents. There, we have a couple of ways to gather information from you. So there is another portal like News, which is a secure portal, allows you to upload things like your tax returns, statements. You could fill that out. There's a video which explains that. Another thing you can do is there's in Right Capital itself, there's a vault. It's a secure vault that allows you to upload documents into that vault. And that allows me to collaborate with you because it truly is a collaborative process where you actually upload information like your tax returns, your W-2s, your pay stubs. That might be statements. We will look at things. Are you registered correctly? What are the correct beneficiaries on your accounts? Those are all things that are on statements. So that may help in terms of the estate planning module and how that connects everything together. Okay. Important thing to keep in mind is the more information you provide to me, the more I can help you. So this is in your best interest to upload as much as you can. Now, if you feel like you're not as organized with this information, what I'm going to have you do is try to upload as much as possible. And then we can do what's called an onboarding session. And in the onboarding session, we'll review the steps that you've done so far and gather the data that's missing. So don't worry about that, but do your best to upload that data, upload statements, connect your accounts. But the videos will explain that. And so I'll just review that. And then from there, depends on your situation. If you need help with college funding, there's a section there about registering for the College Aid Pro software that I also provide. So you can look at that and watch that video as well. Hope this helps. If you have questions, feel free to either email me, call me, or you can actually schedule a meeting right through Zoom, or we can even do FaceTime, whatever works to kind of help you understand how this works for you. So hope this helps. Look forward to working with you, and I'll talk to you soon.